Ladies and gentlemen, next I'd like to invite Mr. Pierre, Behman, the President, Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to present the industry address. But just a very short introduction. For him, Mr. Pierre Behman encompasses about 20 years in international pharmaceutical business. For the last 8 years, as the country head India operations for Pierre Fabre, overlooks the complete portfolio of activities, including prescription pharmaceuticals, OTC, dermo-cosmetic and R&D and sourcing activities. And this is his third venture in India. His career also encompasses handling sales and marketing in China and global customer service in France. And Mr. Behman is also the Vice President of the Board of Foreign Trade Advisors of France and the President of the Board of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry since September 2014. Welcoming Mr. Behman once again. Please put your hands together, everybody, as I invite him to speak to all of us.
Thank you very much for this nice introduction. Honorable Union Minister for Minority Affairs, Dr. Nadja Heptullah, Your Excellency, Mr. François Richer, Ambassador of France in India. It gives me an immense pleasure to address to you today for this third India Summit, Luxury Summit, organized in partnership with ASSOCHAM. We are very much honored that France to be the partner country this year. The Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry is a bilateral organization helping companies to do business between the two countries. It's belonging to a network of 112 Chamber of Commerce across the globe. And in India, we are pan-India, so we have 4 offices in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, and Chennai. We are also 500 members, Indian and French companies, and among those 500 members, a lot of companies who are working also in the luxury. France, you know, is synonymous with luxury, fashion, lifestyle, and art de vivre. You know, the French like to put some French word in the English. It's like a revenge, I think. So this art de vivre. It is a prestigious luxury brand that we have, which have a strong heritage, quality, and an exclusive offer. Many of these brands are present in India. When I say many, in fact, I would like to say not enough. Okay, if we consider the implementation of luxury companies in India, there is still a long work to do. Almost 30% of our luxury companies or their suppliers are present in India. I don't like to compare from country to country, but just to give a benchmark, in Brazil or in China, it's 70%. The fashion and luxury industry represent an important sector for France, as luxury goods contribute to the country's economic activity and to its international influence and image. Behind the prestigious image of luxury, there is also a traditional expertise that enables companies and in different sectors to deliver high-quality products and to meet high expectations from the consumer. But I see a lot of opportunities for the two countries to collaborate on this segment as well as other segments. And a huge potential and interest for India particularly. Among those potential, you know that, but the commercialization itself, which increase, of course, the revenues and consequently the taxes which are coming to India. I remember, you know, this is the advantage to be in India for some time, so, as a French in India. But I remember when I arrived in India, it was difficult to find the product in the country. And the people who could afford those products were used to go abroad to buy them. They were traveling extensively, and they were buying the same product in different countries. Now, the big difference is that the products are bought from India, and the revenues come to India. This is the first important point. The second point, there is a strong impact also on manpower. At the moment, it's quite limited. We know that because the retail is still limited. but the impact is huge. And we think, of course, to the luxury brands which are in retail, but we put in luxury also the hotel industry. We have the representative of Accor Hotel, and one of the reference of Accor, Sofitel, is absolutely the highest reference of hotel in this beautiful brand. And so they hire definitely a lot of people. I see also a lot of opportunity India to be a source even for France. France to India, we like to promote it extensively, but I see also the inverse be true. A source of inspiration. Look at the inspiration, for example, that India is doing with the fashion brands like Chanel. And I don't know if some of you saw the défilé Chanel some years back done by Lagerfeld with the theme of India. It was absolutely fabulous. The source of inspiration as well with beauties. We have beautiful models, and I don't know if Mrs. Sonam Kapoor is coming or not, but definitely inspiring very much the fashion and the cosmetic industry. We have also possibility to exchange on qualified know-how, and I think particularly to two segments which are very much inspiring France. Embroideries. You know that most of the brands in France, are sourcing all their embroideries in India because of the strong know-how which is there. As we were speaking about artisanat as well is a potential for India to influence France. Also, we can source material. We speak here, for example, about perfume. We have suppliers of raw material for perfumes, which are sourcing active ingredients from India. In terms of supply as well and know-how, I don't forget jewelry, which is a very strong know-how, and most of the stones are coming from India. Last but not least, we can sometime, not always, but we can sometime also manufacture locally. And you will see soon, or perhaps you already tested, you know that what Moet & Cie has done in India, this sparkling wine named Chandon, inspired by the methodology of Champagne, and which will be inaugurated in a few days, which is a great success. It's again a nice image which is set in India, manufacturing in India, and working on also agriculture and food. Luxury, my last point will be that luxury is important because it's, in my opinion, a very visible indicator of the economic situation of a country and the environment, the friendly economic environment that we can find in the country. And I know that many different indicators does exist, very technical, sometimes that even we don't understand when we read the newspaper, but there is one indicator that even the common man is looking at is the development of the luxury industry. Because they know, they are familiar with the brands, they like the brands, and in some you want it or not, but they project, in fact, what is the development of the economy of the country through the development of their brand. So I see a very huge interest to continue to develop this industry. The actual government effort toward doing business in India are laudable, and definitely. Greater progress could be made by rationalizing FDI conditions, for example, addressing complexity of taxes, simplifying procedures, supporting development of infrastructures. So that's all for my speech. Again, we are very pleased to be part of this prestigious event. Thank you to the ASOCAM for organizing it, and thank you for listening to my very poor French accent.
Topics.
If you can facilitate the opening up of the expansion of the international border trade,
can add to the economy.
370 धारा जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर को मुल्क के साथ जोड़े रखती है.
Candid confessions.
The Congress has not been able to communicate.
We have to revive our links with the masses.
World-class healthcare is available to only a handful of people in this country.
Causing controversies.
A lot of leaders today think that they rule by divine right.
Now, media has become manageable.
Watch RSTV engage personalities to the point. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Thursday, 1:30 and 5:30 p.m.
Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes. Rajya Sabha Television brings you events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha Television, democracy at work.
Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Nicolas Ribollet, and he's a partner at Mazars, the business advisory firm that has its presence in about 73 countries with 15,000 people. And Nicolas is based in New Delhi and has been working in India since 2009. He has over 20 years of experience in audit and advisory, and he's a chartered accountant in France and the UK, as well as a French registered auditor. And Nicolas is a French trade advisor, CCEF, and he's also the chairman of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce, Northern Chapter based in New Delhi, and a member of the board of directors, CCI France International, which is a network of 113 French Chamber of Commerce abroad in 83 countries. He's also the board member and the treasurer of the French Chamber of Commerce in Great Britain in London. So may I now invite Mr. Nicolas Ribollet to kindly make his presentation.
Thank you very much. I think you will have to bear with French accent again, but I think as France is the partner country for this event, you have a second French speaker after Pierre. I just wanted to cover in this presentation the importance of French companies, French brands, and France for the development of luxury sector in India. First of all, luxury sector. What are we talking about? There are various definitions, and there's a lot of different segments in this industry. The one that I've put here is one that is quite comprehensive and that is showing the total global market that is estimated around I think at the moment is more than 1.4 trillion euros. And you can see here the various segments: apparel, liver and goods, watch and jewelry, cosmetic, which is the personal luxury goods. And I think a lot of people think about these goods when we talk about luxury and fashion. But on top of that, you can add various other sectors: luxury cars, and everything which is around experimental luxury. And I think there will be a few discussions during the course of today about some of these segments, notably about hospitality, travel and hotels that are part of luxury as well. What is interesting here on this chart is that you can see the split in terms of the global turnover of these various segments. And of course, as we will see, France has a lot of champions and companies represented across many of these segments. When we talk of these segments, and that's the case for India, but on a global basis, there are of course a lot of common things and common factors between the various segments of the luxury industry, but a lot of differences and segment-specific matters and challenges. So here I won't go into so much of detail, but here's to set the scene about the luxury sector. Is India the new priority of global luxury brands, including French brands? I think that's an important question, notably following the slowdown of the Chinese economy. I think a lot of eyes are turned to India now about a number of sectors, including the luxury sectors. What I can say is that I think there's a lot of interest notably from France and from the French companies to continue to invest and to develop in that sector in India. And of course, India is seen as a very significant growth market for luxury brands. The importance of France and French companies for luxury sectors in India, I think that has been mentioned earlier, but just to give you a few figures, just to highlight the importance of the fashion and luxury industries. In France is ranked number 1 in the global luxury industries, as 130 out of 270 prestige brands around the world that are French. 35% is the percentage of global fashion and luxury turnover generated by French companies. You can compare that with USA with 23% or Italy with 13%. And then if we are talking about the French manufacturing, that employs directly or indirectly 170,000 people. There's a recent Mazars report that is giving if you need more information about the French luxury and fashion industry, we have produced a very comprehensive report that you can obtain. If you take note of the email that is below, luxury@mazars.co.in, would be very happy to provide that report to you, that is giving a lot of views about the challenge that are faced by the French industry. And I think a lot of these challenges would be applicable to companies in India, including Indian companies that are willing to develop in that sector as well. It's notably talking about the expertise and the traditional savoir-faire that is there, how you can protect and develop that, and I think that's applicable to India as well. That has a lot of traditional industries, including some that can be used and leveraged by the luxury sector. Just another example of the importance of French companies. If you're looking, I've taken the example of handbags. If you're looking at the 10 most searched luxury handbags on a global basis, what you realize is that you have 5 of these brands that are French and 2 others that are non-French but that are owned by French groups. So it's just one of the illustrations of the importance of French companies in that sector. In terms of the development of French companies in India, there's a lot of French companies that are established here, a lot of brands that are already present. Of course, these companies can develop further. There's a white paper that has been very recently produced by the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce together with Trilego, with the support of Mazars, and that is tackling a number of the recommendations and the challenges that are there in terms of the luxury sector. So it's a report. I mean, you can approach the Indo-French Chamber for that, but I think that is giving quite a lot of details about the challenges and the recommendation. In terms of the main challenges that are there, and these challenges are important in order for the luxury sector to grow more quickly in India. We got some interaction with the Indian authorities, including DIPP, that are quite positive, and I think there's a lot of interactions and discussions about these challenges, and we are hopeful that a number of the recommendations that have been made will be followed up by some relaxations or actions that should enable the more development of the sector. Among the recommendations that are raised, there the question about the FDI entry conditions, including the local sourcing norms, because for single brand FDI, you know that there's a minimum sourcing that is imposed to companies, so that's one of the challenges for international investors. Access to e-commerce and the possibility for luxury brands to run their own e-commerce website is one of the matters that we have raised as well. The sub-branding and multiple brands, because you have a number of groups that have not only one brand, but a number of different brands or sub-brands. I think all of that is an area where we have made some recommendations as well. The fact that wholesale retail needs to be run in parallel and cannot be integrated in the same companies is another important point. And then 2 points that are regarding tax and duties. The relatively high level of import duty, that is a barrier for a number of luxury brands and companies at the moment, as well as the rates on sale of luxury goods. I think these are some of the challenges that we have raised to the ministers as well. And then there are, of course, a number of other industry-specific issues. I mentioned that there were a lot of different segments in the luxury industry. So there are things like the fact that the GST does not incorporate alcohol, for example, a number of other industry-specific matters that are there as well. What we believe is that some of these challenges that are there may be eased, and there can be some relaxations of some of the policies that should enable luxury companies to develop even more quickly in India tomorrow. The other challenges, and I think you would be familiar with that if you are in this business, notably the retail, the relatively high rental costs, I think is clearly a significant issue for luxury companies operating in India. I think overall, on average, I would say that the cost of rental is probably around 40% of cost in India for luxury companies, when it's more around 15 to 20% on a global basis. That's a challenge that companies have to overcome. The limited luxury malls and high streets is still a challenge as well. So there's a need for more quality luxury space and environment. Counterfeit products, I think it's an issue that is nowhere near some other countries, but that is a growing issue and an important issue for luxury companies. And then the importance of staff training and retention, I think that are important challenges for luxury companies. Apart from challenges, I think there are a number of things that companies can do and are doing well to develop on the Indian luxury markets. If you see some of the success stories, notably of some of the French companies, I think the key factors of success that they have applied are around the following. One is to invest and innovate with a localized strategy. Of course, you can apply, and a number of the French brands will apply their worldwide strategy, but there's a need really to make specific investment and to have a strategy that is really adapted to the Indian market. Be cost effective. I mentioned the rental cost, but all the other costs as well. Because it's notably because of the rental cost, it's not a business that is cheap to run. The understanding of customers and the Indian market, I think, is very important as well, and the importance to experience new things. I think one of the example that I like is the one of Hermes, that has developed some Indian saris. I think it's one of the type of thing that companies can think to adapt their offer to the Indian market. To succeed with the Indian consumers, a few key points to note as well. India is, as you would know, for the Indian people in the room, is a very large country with a number of complexities and traditions. A lot of differences on a regional basis as well. So all of that needs to be captured by international companies, including luxury companies, when they come to India. They need to have outstanding service, because the level of service that Indian consumers are used to have in India is often very high, notably for this segment. And then the fact that there are various things that can be opportunities and where you can succeed in India. Indian weddings, religious festivals, the importance of family, Bollywood, a number of these factors are important. I take here the example of wedding. The wedding market is estimated to more than $1 billion, and of course there's room for French luxury companies and Indian luxury companies to develop on this wedding industry. I think that's the case for the hospitality business, but that's the case for fashion and luxury as well. I would finish with two things. One is not only on the French side, purely on the French side, but more to look at India. And I think there's some French expertise that can be used on that front. Is India as a sourcing hub for luxury product and as a source of luxury brand. One of the examples is what you can see here is the Indian market for handicraft. And the estimation of the size of the market. A lot of this market is around exports, and 2/3 of these exports are to the 10 quality-conscious markets, including France. What it shows is that there's a potential and room for Indian brands to develop, and probably to mix that with the expertise of French companies to develop and to continue to develop overseas, I think is one of the possibilities. So India as a sourcing hub for luxury product has clearly some significance, and that's part of Make in India. If you're looking at another segment, jewelry, when you're looking at the evolution of jewelry exports between 1997 and 2014, I think it's giving you an idea of the India market share today. And that's one of the sub-segments of the luxury industry where I think there's still a lot of potential for the Indian companies. The way forward, a few questions here. I don't necessarily have all the answers there, but I think there's a lot of opportunities that are there for the luxury sector in India. As I said, India is a sourcing hub for luxury. Can India have some companies that can emerge as global retailers? I think that's a good question. The Indian brands as well. There are some Indian brands that are developing. Can they become big globally and continue to develop outside of India? I think that's one of the parameters of the Indian luxury industry. And finally, just one word about e-commerce, because e-commerce can be an accelerator for the luxury industry as well. I mentioned that as a challenge because for French players there are still some restrictions about it, but I think it's an area that should be looked carefully by both the French and the Indian luxury players, and that's probably a way forward to deal with new ways of distributing products, and I think that's a part of the answer to the challenges of this sector. Thank you very much.